Dwyer.
Mark Pucci.
And we decided to do a video for the first and second law of thermodynamics because those problems were disgusting. Anyways, so we chose to analyze the first and second law of thermodynamics through the use of a typical car engine or an automobile engine. And in order to do this, which is a heat engine. So in order to do this, we looked up a bunch of diagrams and kind of interpreted what they meant. So according to the second law of thermodynamics, a hot source moves towards a cold source, and working through the engine, it outputs work, moving from a hot to a cold environment, eventually leveling out the playing fields of hot and cold. This being said, in an engine, versus the PV graph, as the work, or the gasoline comes in and does work on the piston, pushing it down, heat is extracted, so as the engine expands, it gets colder. The piston pushes the gas up, compressing it. The spark plug ignites it, which again pushes the piston back down, sending the gas to a collapse, pushing the exhaust out as the piston gets pulled back in by the compressed gas. So let me go over that again. So the gas comes in, pushes the piston down, the piston pushes itself back up, compressing the gas. The spark plug ignites the gas, and then the combusted gas pushes the piston down, and the exhaust goes out the valve number 2, which is the outlet. And if you look at the PV graph, the area inside this loop or whatever is the total work done by the system if you were to actually calculate it out. And in regard to the first law of thermodynamics, the change in the energy of the universe is equal to the change in the energy of the system, which is the engine, and the change in the energy of the surroundings. But the total change has to be 0. So since the total change has to be 0, along with the second law, heat is moving from hotter to cold environments. So from the hot engine, it moves to the cold surroundings, which moves the piston as well, therefore drives the car. The cold reservoir is the surroundings of the engine, which I just said. That is heat lost, and heat lost from the system is gained by the environment. So a negative goes into a positive, which cancels each other out and makes 0. And then, but to keep the engine moving, if we're gonna lose all the heat eventually, as the entropy, I believe it is, levels out. Eventually, all the heat would get out, but luckily the car puts in more gas and keeps the system flowing. So as more gas is put in, the energy of the system goes up. The heat goes out, which makes the energy of the system go down, and therefore it stays at 0. Keeping all energy conserved. And now we're gonna go see that in real life.
Real life heat engine. What happens is the gas comes through this pipe into this chamber and pushes the pistons down. The pistons then recoil, compressing the gas back up until the spark ignites the gas. Then the gas, being ignited, pushes the pistons back down. And the exhaust comes out through this pipe right here. And the heat, while the exhaust is leaving here, the heat is radiating out because of the second law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics keeps the system at 0 because the heat is entering the environment around. So the gas goes through that pipe and goes through the car all the way to the back here, where you can see a pipe right here coming out of here, and if you watch closely, you can see the exhaust flowing out of the car in the wind direction.